Welcome back to Math 109 Plain Trigonometry. In this video, we're going to take a look at three different forms of the half-angle identity tangent. So for all of them, we're going to start with the fact that the tangent of a over 2 is equal to the sine of a over 2 divided by the cosine of a over 2. Well, in the last video we derived formulas for sine of a over 2 and cosine of a over 2. So we get plus or minus the square root of 1 minus the cosine of a over 2 all over plus or minus the square root of 1 plus the cosine of a over 2. And then, using basic properties of algebra, I do point out we cannot cancel the pluses and minuses here. We can bring everything underneath the square root. In essence, we can cancel those 2's in the denominators, both top and bottom. So we end up getting the square root of 1 minus the cosine of a over 1 plus the cosine of a, and we'll still need the plus or minus out front on that. Let me give myself a little more space there. So that's one way that we can look at the tangent of a over 2. There are a couple more ways that can be a little bit more useful for us. So again, we're going to use the fact that tangent of a over 2 is equal to sine of a over 2 over cosine of a over 2. But now, let's go ahead and multiply the numerator and denominator. So let me just rewrite here. We're actually going to, in this case, multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2 cosine of a over 2. And in doing so, we get 2 sine of a over 2 cosine of a over 2 divided by 2 cosine squared of a over 2. Well, now, if you'll recall from the last set of videos, that numerator, that's the double angle formula for sine. So we're going to get sine of a in the numerator. In the denominator, to make things a little bit more clear, I'm going to write 2 cosine squared of a over 2 minus 1 plus 1. And the key here is 2 cosine squared of a over 2 plus 1. That's one of the forms of the double angle formula for cosine. So So what we end up with is sine of A over 1 plus cosine of A. And notice in this case we don't have to deal with the plus minus because we never took a square root or anything in doing this. That makes our life a little bit easier. And now from this identity for it, let's go ahead and multiply the numerator and denominator by 1 minus the cosine of A. So that will give us, I'm going to go ahead and leave the numerator factored. Multiplying that denominator out, I get 1 minus cosine squared of A, which we can convert 1 minus cosine squared to sine squared of A. Numerator we leave alone. And now that we've done this, we can cancel a factor of sine A from the numerator and denominator. And that will leave us with another form of the identity. 1 minus the cosine of A over the sine of A. So that's the half-angle identities for tangent. That will do it for Chapter 5. In Chapter 6, we're going to look at how we can solve equations using trigonometry.